When is the last time you actually talked about sexual intimacy? Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Kopaz. I'm a clinical psychologist, and this week we are talking about your physical sexual intimacy. This is a tough topic, so if you have not taken my 6-week relationship challenge, you may want to check that out from a few weeks ago. For those of you who are right in the midst of it, we are ready to talk about it. And I want to start with the idea of breaking myths. So there are a lot of myths that I hear from people about physical intimacy with their partner. And I think the first step in having better physical intimacy in a long-term relationship is breaking some of those myths. Over time, the lust phase goes away in relationships, and sometimes things can get a little bit, stale or non-existent for couples. But I think there's lots of ways that we can revitalize this, and couples are shocked when it can come back. So the first thing is just recognizing if there's any myths that you're buying into that might be getting in the way of your physical intimacy. So for example, do you tell yourself, or does your spouse say, it doesn't count if I have to schedule it? It doesn't count if we have to use a toy. It doesn't count if it happens at different times, right? There's lots of myths, and as I'm saying these, hopefully you're thinking of others that might be coming up in your mind that maybe you or your partner have, because everyone is different, that get in the way of really enjoying each other physically. And I say that they're myths because the truth is they're not accurate. There's lots of couples with wonderful, healthy lives together who don't buy into these myths, and that's why they're having a great time. That's why they are keeping things spicy and enjoyable and being able to talk about intimacy and find new ways to make things exciting and fun and just satisfying. When things start to change and shift to a more comfortable stage in a relationship, it's not just anxiety and butterflies in the tummy that make our intimacy exciting. It's about other things. It's about trusting your partner. It's about really connecting with your bodies, and it's about closeness and how that gives each other something, a connection point, a moment of shared experience. And it really honors your partner and honors the fact that you may be in a relationship where at this point, if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you're in the part of your relationship where you've decided that you're your partner's only sexual partner, that you want them to be your only person, and it's not fair to withhold sexual intimacy once you guys have agreed upon that indefinitely, if that is your partner's only person for that. Now, of course, this doesn't ever mean to feel pressured. It doesn't ever mean that we can't have boundaries. So I qualify that very specifically with the idea that boundaries are sexy. And I really want to make sure that you recognize when it's not the right time, it's not the right space, and balance that with recognizing that avoidance forever is not going to help, right? If we're anxious about this, if things haven't been going well, we've had some bad experiences, or it's just been a while, or we feel disconnected from our partner, avoidance forever does not make things better. Anxiety only gets worse with avoidance. And so we will get more comfort if we can approach. And maybe that approach is getting closer to being physically intimate, but not actually doing that for a while, and just keep trying and keep coming back to it until eventually things are feeling better. Again, if you're at any point uncomfortable, I want you to talk with your partner about that, or have a code word, whatever you might need to stop things, and be able to talk about it and give your partner that grace. Know that they're trying. And again, that the idea is not that this is forever. The next thing that I think is really important when we're looking at physical intimacy and maintaining good, healthy physical intimacy actually has nothing to do with your partner. It has to do with how do we connect with our own bodies. What are you doing in your day-to-day routine, weekly routine, whatever it might be, to connect with your own body? Are you doing anything that helps you to feel connected to everything below the neck? Sometimes we're working and we're talking, and maybe we're on video or we're on phone or we're virtual so much that we might start to actually feel very disconnected from everything from the neck down, and we don't even realize it. So being in touch with your own body is a great way to spice up your desire, your physical intimacy with your partner, because it helps us to feel our own body. And this can be done with things like yoga, it can be done with exercising, it can be done with getting a massage, it can be done in lots of different ways. But the idea is, how do we get more in touch with our own body, stay connected, and do something, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, to really stretch or feel the parts of our body that we might be ignoring when we're doing our day-to-day work routine and just trying to survive the grunt of the daily activities. If you have any history of trauma, you might need to consult with a professional. If you have a history of infidelity in your relationship, same thing. I will put up some links to some trauma-informed yoga and some things you might want to use if that is in your history, but anyone can use them. And the last thing I want to talk about today is closeness versus giving your partner space. This balance is really important. So really think about, how are you connecting with your partner, but then also how are you giving them space? I think we touched on it a little bit last week about connecting and having touch points, the 6-second hug that can increase oxytocin release, really trying to find times to physically hold hands or connect with your partner, whatever it might feel comfortable throughout the day that's not related to wanting it to result in sexual intimacy. So having those moments where it's agreed upon that you're connecting for the sake of connecting, not with any goal in mind, right? But also the idea that at other times we need space. Since the pandemic, many of us have been really squished up against each other. Sometimes partners are in the same house 24/7, and it's been really tough on relationships. So space is a big thing too. Finding a hobby that you like outside the home, getting out for your own exercise or for your own time with your friends, whatever it might be, that space is actually going to help your relationship be healthier. If you are in a place where you can go do some things where your partner can see the things you love, even better. I mean, when's the last time you were at a party and you looked across the room at your partner and saw them engaged in a conversation with someone else, or heard them sharing a story about something and you thought, wow, that's why I fell for them, or oh, they're as attractive as I thought they were back then. I haven't looked at them this way in a while. There's something about having that space, that distance, that allows us to remember why we picked them in the first place, and also to remember how other people see them, the ones that don't have to see the day-to-day not so pretty parts, right? And so it can be really helpful. It can really improve our intimacy, our lust factor, to have some space as well as the closeness and having a good give and take. I think of like swing dancing when I think of this, like that idea of letting go of the partner and then pulling them back in, and then letting go of the partner and then pulling them back in. In what ways are you swing dancing with your partner? I really want you to talk with your partner, spend some time exploring these ideas about how to break myths, how do you connect your own body, how do you have a balance of closeness and space. That'll be your assignment for this week if you're doing the 6-week relationship challenge. And if you'd like to follow me, you can click the subscribe button. Next week we'll have some more tips and ideas for couples, and then following that we'll have some individual ideas coming up. Thanks so much. And you can also check out my website at drkinthebay.com. Thanks so much. Bye.